Welcome back into the arena for what has turned into a must-win game. John McAllister against Phil Parkin. After John's disappointing loss in that last match, he's slipped down the league table, but if he can get 2 points out of this one, he will get back level with Sean Story, and it will go down to what happens in the last match of the night. Anything other than a McAllister win will guarantee Sean Story's path through to the next stage of the tournament. Phil Parkin mathematically out of contention already, but of course that doesn't mean he's going to take this lightly by any means. Wants to show what he can do tonight. Probably not quite what he wanted to show there. It's been a disappointing night for Phil. He's been so close to it going right, but just a couple of things have gone wrong at the wrong moment. Could have won against Luke Gilbert, but just came up a fraction short, and that draw was costly just because he needed some points on the board. John McAllister will quite be able to figure out what happened in that last match. There were some very strange moments. He messed up a positional shot playing position onto the black, and then kind of got away with it and inexplicably then went in off. It's the nature of this format. You can sometimes end up having to play back-to-back matches. Something unexpected happens, you've just got to put it straight out of your mind, get back on with it. We were just talking briefly with Sean Story in the break. He was saying he doesn't have a very good record against John. He lost to him quite a few times in different tournaments over the years. Magnanimous as ever, he was saying doesn't necessarily count this as a major win given the length of the format, but happy to have it nonetheless. Phil, once again, you feel just a frame or two away from clicking into form. If he could just sequence a couple of frames together, could really imagine him starting to fly. All the pressure's off, of course, which can sometimes be a good thing. It doesn't really matter what happens here. This is just his chance to play some good pool, enjoy himself out there. Sometimes the challenge when you're the guy in the other chair, this really matters for John. He needs to win this match. Sometimes when you're playing the player that's out, even though it's easy to think they're probably not the one in form, they've equally got a lot less pressure on them. I don't think the red passes the yellow bottom right, so they're going to have to find a different pocket for it. Looks like he's purposefully leaving an angle here. He could play this with left hand side off the side cushion, try and drop in behind it for the same pocket.
Great call, Mark. Have you done this job before?
I'm glad he did me right and played the correct shot.
Oh, he's done it again. Phil.
Wow, after a great previous positional shot, he'd landed on that about as well as he could have done. He's made a bit of a mess of this one. Just didn't seem any need for that. He played it a bit more gently, catch it a little bit thinner, cue ball naturally tracking up. John wants to avoid here is getting drawn into a scrappy match. He's seen his opponent play some good stuff and some bad stuff already this evening. From John's point of view, he just needs a clean win here. If he does get that clean win, he'll join Sean Story on 4 points, but he'll have a painful wait in the last match because it'll be out of his hands.
Shot that is. Lovely shot.
Yeah, that's close to perfect. The angle is left there.
Doesn't seem particularly happy with it though. A little sort of sarcastic nod of the yeah, he's just a little bit offset. So playing this with loads of right hand side to bounce off the back rail. Good shot though this. That's a lovely shot. What a shot that is. Look at the spin on the cue ball. Nice shot.
That's a lovely piece of cueing. Did right to commit to that shot. You could also have played with a bit of side and just try and straighten the cue ball up, but decided to play off the cushion. Well, nicely done in the end. There was a chance he shouldn't have had.
That's a bit of free coaching there for you. I normally charge for that sort of information, but that's for you for free. That is. Feeling in a charitable mood tonight.
But that, I mean, it's a very accurate observation, and it's kind of been true of Phil's game tonight. There's been some shots he's just looked great on and cued perfectly, and then just one or two like that just hasn't quite looked settled for one reason or another. So difficult, isn't it, when you start the match? I mean, I was watching him for a few minutes in the warm-up. He looked great, as people so often do in warm-ups, because there's just less pressure on them. Watch him run a few frames and think, well, plays like that in the match, going to be a battle for anyone. It'd be nice, obviously, from a neutral's perspective, to see the last match of the night matter. If John wins this match, Sean Story needs to get something out of his last match, which isn't a foregone conclusion, because Luke Gilbert, although he hasn't quite done it tonight, is a more than dangerous opponent, as we've talked about extensively already. It's a very big trophy cabinet. I don't think there's anyone in the game, apart from maybe a Tom Cousins, who's won more trophies than Luke in the last few months.
Yeah, if you ever fell on hard times, find a good scrap metal merchant, he'll be alright, won't he? Yeah, he'll be okay.
He's made it maximally difficult for himself as well by keep winning them abroad and then having to get the trophies home. So if he is going to pot the ball to the bottom right, which I assume is what he's played for, he's going to play with quite a lot of side to try and push the cue ball through. Does he feel he can screw back? Yeah, no, he did have to try and go through. He's played that pretty well.
Big match for John. Penultimate match of the night.
Left himself quite close to this, which doesn't make it any the easier. His only route through to the latter stages altogether is also going to be to win a 6-round shootout once he's got to that 4 points, because he needs Sean to lose the last match and then they'll still be tied on points. This tournament started out with 16 groups of 4. One winner from each group. That gives you 4 more groups. And then once that's all been played, you're down to your final 4 for the semi-finals and final. In a couple of months from now. Such is the standard and the number of pros now that not guaranteed even entry into the tournament that's been pre-qualifying to get to this stage. That was how Phil Parkin was expecting to be involved in that qualifying. He had a qualifier against Carl Morris coming up in a few weeks' time by being the lucky qualifier selected when Morgan McInnes couldn't make tonight. He's expedited his path in, but as you were rightly saying at the beginning, he's found himself a pretty difficult group to drop into.
Yeah, they don't get much tougher, that's for sure. When did he get the call for the match? Was it today or yesterday?
Last night.
Last night. So I'm wondering, obviously Phil's a Stoke fan, I'm not sure if you're aware. So I wonder if he maybe came down to, I don't think he could have caught the match, but probably was a little bit late notice to catch the match, but I'm sure that if he'd got the call a bit sooner, he may have gone to the Stoke match prior, because he's a big Stoke fan, I know that, even though he lives in Coventry. Avid Stoke fan. Someone's got to be, I guess. All the locals listening in, that'll be like slating me. I'll get some messages on my socials now. Shut up, James. It'll be.
Hope you're going to be feeling safe leaving the club tonight.
Yeah, I'll just walk behind you, Mark. I'll be fine. What a great shot that is. Another shot. Wow.
What a lovely positional shot that was from Phil. Wow. Easier, obviously, with less pressure on it, but still, he clearly wants to show what he can do tonight. In some highlight reels moments, but just not enough consistency in between them. Noticeably more power there, really driving his back arm through the ball.
Could he have landed any worse? Is he on the yellow? From the overhead, I'd suggest he is, but I don't know.
That red and cue ball just tracking down in parallel down the table. Looks like he can get through to cut the yellow.
I think he'd have definitely preferred reds. So, still, nonetheless, there's a chance. I think he'll get this.
Just going to play one good positional shot to get onto the ball down the left-hand rail. It's landed pretty well because it's just off straight on this ball to the top corner. Means it's quite an easy positional shot. It's not going to get close to the ball on the rail, but it guarantees the gap. So just got to focus on running this ball down the rail. Nothing at all to do with the cue ball. The cue ball's naturally drifting off the cushion, back across slightly for the ball to the right-hand corner.
No.
Well, electing to dig down, played it a bit firmer, playing it with drags. Some players, I think, would have just gone for the middle of the cue ball and played it softer, but it's just a matter of personal choice. Decent chance this for Phil. Only one ball in a difficult spot, the one above the left pocket, and that's not in too bad a position.
No, you'd certainly mind these for your wages. 9 times out of 10.
This is the exact situation John didn't want, to get drawn into a match against the guy that's already gone out, who turns up and is starting to play a few shots now.
It's for Coventry bragging rights, this one, for Phil, isn't it? You know, he's not the sort of player to just roll over. You know, he's going to want to give himself a bit of confidence. He's got the tour coming up. You know, so if he finishes positively, puts him in a better, you know, sort of frame of mind, ready for the weekend. So, still, you know, although not in you know, tonight's competition, but it's all about how he leaves and how he's feeling when he leaves tonight, ready for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if he could get something out of this match, particularly a win, he's actually not given a bad account of himself tonight. Looks like he's going to tie the scores up at this point. So 4 frames played, 2 apiece.
Nearly found the half, puts his hand up. Look at the split.
Well, that's remarkable. That is by no means the best hit break, but the result is phenomenal. Well, he is again. He's played a cannon that he really didn't need to play. He's held his hand up. It's definitely been a slight weakness tonight. He's not quite had the cue ball. He's playing a few cannons that you maybe think he could have done without. Guarantee the shot. Turned out nicely as it happens, though.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Sean Story will be sat in the lounge thinking, come on, Phil.
Yeah, and he'll be thinking that, because if the scoreline stays as it looks like it's about to be, 3-2, that means that Sean is already through. It doesn't matter what happens in that last match. Crucial break now for John. Needs to get something out of this one.
Oh, 8 ball.
Well, he'd have taken that as a result. This 8 ball tracking towards the middle pocket. Bumped by the yellow.
But in not potting one. It's 1:42 on the clock. Phil's used his extension. He's just got to roll, 3 or 4 balls in. The 4 in the middle of the table should be easy enough. He utilises the shot clock here, and that should be that.
This game has turned on its head in the space of a few minutes. John 2-0 up. Looked plain sailing. Phil looked a bit out of sorts. The first frame he won, he made a good clearance. Had to play a difficult shot towards the end of it. Landed really nice. Hasn't looked back. Still a bit to be done towards the top of the table, but from Phil's point of view, staying at the table is more valuable right now.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even if he misses, you've got to just utilise that clock, because John's not going to have the time to knock them balls in from where they are. They're really tough. So this is match over and group over in essence. It's yeah, it's a nice shot. Going for the 4-2 win, I think.
Yeah.
4 to go for it now. Though,
Yeah, well, that's exactly the thing, because it doesn't really matter what happens. There's not enough time for John to clear up. Well, go on.
Come on, Phil.
Come on, Phil. Let's smash this
Phil.
double in.
Got it. Got it. Ooh.
Not far off, but did enough. So, with that win from Phil Parkin is enough to seal John McAllister's fate. He goes out, and Sean Story now guaranteed to go through.